Hey guys, welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, today we're going to be talking about oversized jerkbaits, big jerkbaits like this Megabass Kanata here, any jerkbait that's over 5 or 6 inches long compared to, like, say for example, this is a little finesse jerkbait by Megabass. Look at the difference. They're both jerkbaits, obviously giant different profile differences. And guys, there's times and places where this big Kanata will catch more and bigger fish than any other jerkbait that you can catch, even despite the size of it. So we're gonna go over that in today's video, get you guys some good tips and advice on that. And also guys, I will put the link to the Megabass Kanata jerkbait in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. After you see this, you're definitely gonna wanna get a couple of them. I absolutely love this thing. It's got a cult following. If you've used one, you know what I'm talking about. So I'll have that link in the description there. And also guys, thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to hit the subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's joined as a channel member and a Patreon member. Big thank you from me and my family there. Okay, now guys, here's the Megabass offering. This is the largest jerkbait that Megabass makes. It's the Megabass Kanata. It's 7 inches long. Prior to that, they had one called the Megabass 110 Magnum, which was I think 5 1/4, and the Kanata came out several years ago. And when I first saw this thing, the sheer size of it, the height of it like this and the length of it, I looked at it and said, man, that is a very situational bait. It's like you're probably not going to get many bites on it. So I was a little hesitant at first until I just started experimenting and forcing myself to fish it. And guys, one of the things that is unique about this Kanata more than anything else is how many bass it catches that are not only good fish, but smaller fish as well. Now let me show you guys one thing here. If I can find my old box of them here. Yeah, prior to that, let's show you the one that, racket here. Let me show you the one that I used prior to the Kanata. And I used this thing for years. This is the, what's called the Magnum 18 Rapala Minnow. I can get the thing unloose here. Should have got more prepared, sorry about that. This is the big Mag 18 Rapala, which was the big jerkbait I used for many, many years. Another 7-inch long jerkbait. An angler named Jimmy Crisp won a $100,000 tournament back in 1983 at Table Rock Lake on this bait. And ever since then, this has been my staple big bass jerkbait until Megabass came out with the Kanata. Now the Kanata is, like I said, basically the same size, as a different profile, but it's high tech. It's got the internal balancer system on it. It's weighted perfectly. The components are high quality components. They got some incredible paint jobs versus the rudimentary big Rapala Minnow, which has a very basic paint job and a little bit cheaper components. So it's an improvement, but nevertheless, both of them are big jerkbaits, the biggest ones that you can use. So when I first got onto this deal, and I've been catching fish on the Rapala for years, but the Rapala, to me, it's like you had to have the perfect set of situations for it. It's like the Rapala Minnow, I needed to have water temperatures in the 50s, and I needed a cloudy, windy day. That's the only way I could catch them on it. And when I got those conditions, I caught a bunch of fish on it, but I never caught a lot of fish on it. I catch quality fish on it, 3 or 4 pounders, but not a lot of smaller fish. But when the Kanata came out, I thought it was gonna be the same thing. And the first thing that I noticed about the Kanata over the bigger Rapala is how many more bass I caught on it in terms of just all different sizes. The first time I really used this effectively, I'd experimented with it on and off for a year or so, and I was fishing down at Table Rock Lake. This was October, about 3 or 4 years ago. And I pulled out the Kanata. It was a windy day. It was partly cloudy, and I started fishing it along this bluff bank. And guys, I must have caught 40 bass that day on that big Kanata, and none of them were over 2 1/4 pounds. They were all between like 1 1/4 pounds to most of them 1 3/4 pounds. A lot of them were spotted bass that have those real small mouths on them. And those smaller fish were hammering this thing. I'm talking about 1 1/4 pound fish with mouths that big, and they just absolutely annihilate this. So that's what got me confidence to throw this as far as just getting bit on it. So I want to talk a little bit about specifically, the exact situations that Kanata works in for me and when I choose to use it. And like the Rapala, it is situational. It's not like a Megabass Vision 110 that you can catch fish 12 months out of the year on it. The Kanata has a window that you're very successful with the thing. And that window has to do with the late pre-spawn time of the year when the water temperatures between 55 and 65 degrees. There's a window there. Usually it's in March or April. And then there's another short window in the middle of May when that water temperature is like in the mid 70s, when those fish are right in the middle of the hard post-spawn period. And then there's a third period in the fall time of the year, back when the water temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. Those are the three windows of the year that I have figured out this thing that works the best. Okay, now when I'm fishing the bait at different times of year, I'm looking for different type of structures. If I'm fishing the bait in the pre-spawn period of the year, when the water's in the 50s and 60s, I'm throwing the big Kanata just on secondary and main lake points, specifically secondary points. Getting the boat usually in, 20 foot of water, throwing it up to the bank, and just working it, with the traditional jerk pause. You hear me talking a lot on my channel about I pull and twitch my jerk baits and I use them on a spinning rod 95% of the time. This is the only bait that I use on a bait caster because it's so heavy. So I do use this on a bait caster, usually 15-pound test Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon, 6 foot 11-inch Megabass 110 jerkbait special rod. And I use it just to jerk, pause, jerk, pause. I don't like to use that retrieve for most other jerk baits, but I do use it for this one. It works really good on the big Kanata. So I get out there in the pre-spawn, fishing those staging type areas, those secondary points. Fish are setting up there waiting to move back into the coves to spawn about a month later. Done very good on that. Now, once the water temperature starts to get in the mid 70s, this is when the Kanata will also work, but I move out to just basically channel banks and bluffs. So a lot of those fish, after they get done spawning, they'll move back out to the main creek or back out to the main lake, and they get on steep banks. Riprap banks, bluff banks, steep channel banks. I'll take the Kanata and I'll make long parallel casts down those steep banks. And again, I've got to have the right water clarity window. The right water clarity window for the Kanata is about 2.5 to maybe 5 foot clarity. Perfect water clarity, in my opinion, for the Kanata is like 3.5 to 4 feet. That is the perfect zone for it. And I make long parallel casts down those steep banks with it. Same deal, jerk, pause. Works in a lot of different type of scenarios too. You can catch them in sunny days. I've caught them on days where the wind's not blowing, super hard, but a little bit of a breeze. Just works good all the way around. Now, the third window is in the fall time of the year, which is probably one of my favorite times of the year to fish it. And again, I'm on two different type of structures. I look for, number one, if the lake has it, floating boat docks. Floating boat docks, guys, I absolutely wrecked them at Lake of the Ozarks this past fall, fishing the Kanata around boat docks up there. Caught tons of fish on it. And same type of deal with the bluff banks. If you have a windy day, especially a day that's got some clouds on it, they'll hammer that Kanata on bluff banks when the water's in the 50s and the 60s and maybe early 70s, October, November, into early December. One of the differences I have noticed though in the spring versus the fall in the Kanata is in the fall time of the year, you have to have low light conditions. Rainy day, cloudy day, some wind with it. That just makes those fish a lot more active. And I usually weight it. Like I said, the bait will float up a little bit unless you weight it. So I'll usually put a suspend strip on it. And the pause on it is usually just a second or two. One of the reasons that I work the Kanata with the jerk pause a little bit more aggressive is I do not want them to get a good look at this bait because it's so big. The larger the bait that you have, the less you want them to be able to steady the bait. So I'm trying to get this Kanata to dart around like that. And the thing about the Kanata that you'll notice, it has a very aggressive action. It doesn't have this, just subtle jerkbait action. This thing is literally all over the place. I mean, it goes crazy in the water. And with 15-pound test on a long cast, you're gonna get it down probably in that, 5 to 7 foot zone, depending upon how long your cast is. But guys, I just wanted to clue you in more than anything else. I mean, a lot of guys have never thrown this. The guys that have thrown it know what I'm talking about. Again, I'll link them in my Tackle Warehouse link. Pick you up a couple. If I could suggest a couple different colors, I'll show you some of my favorite ones here. If I can dig it out, I'd rather get everything in the box all caught up here. You can catch them on about any color that they got, but I've caught a lot on this one. This is called the HT Tennessee Shad. I like this one if the water visibility is, you know, a little bit more off-colored. And then you can't go wrong ever with just the old school Pro Blue. Pro Blue is really, really good in a little bit cleaner water or bright days. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of chartreuse marking pen on the side, but they got a bunch of good colors and they're all good. So anyway, guys, give it a try. Hope it helps you out. We'll talk later.